All right, I'm back and I'm with Brad Serot, Vice Chairman of CBRE. Brad was actually here with his partner, Tony. I think it was week 3 of COVID. So I'm having him back here today to talk about how he's been able to build a great business network in Chicago by creating some extremely valuable, long-lasting relationships. So Brad, welcome back.
Hey, Benny. Thanks for having me.
No problem. We can get just right into it. Why are business relationships, why are relationships so important to you?
It's really kind of a loaded question for someone like me because building relationships is really a part of who I am. And, I think back when I got into commercial real estate over 18 years ago, aging myself a bit. And there's a guy named Steve Siegel. He's a legend in commercial real estate. He's now the chairman of CBRE in New York, and he's a wonderful person. And when I first started off in commercial real estate, I asked Steve, how can I be successful in this job? And what do I need to do? And I'll do whatever it takes. And he looked at me and he said, the day that you remember and realize this isn't a job, that it's a lifestyle, is the day that you'll be successful. Meaning that your clients become your friends, and it just sort of you get entrenched in the business ecosystem, and it all sort of blends together. And that really resonated with me because building relationships and deep friendships is really just who I am at my core. And then if I can incorporate that into my daily life and how I live, that would lead to success. So that's something I practice today, and I really valued his words.
Awesome. You've done a heck of a job in 18 years, because when I moved to the city and I started Baker Tilly almost 3 years ago, whenever commercial real estate was mentioned in Chicago, the names that were always on top by whoever said it, you were always one of them. You're always at the top, if not one of the top ones. So that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this with you.
I appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit about, whether it's 18 years ago, well, throughout the last 18 years, give me some tactical ways, some tactics that you use in order to meet new people and grow those relationships.
Yeah, look, I think when I go back to how I got started, it definitely didn't happen overnight. It takes a really long time to develop really long-lasting, reliable relationships and a network. As I mentioned, I've been in commercial real estate for over 18 years. And I'm really, really proud of the companies, the founders, the CEOs that I actually get to work with. And to be honest with you, they're relationships that will last much longer than my business career. So again, just something that's really, really wonderful. And when I started off, like you, Benny, I'm not from Chicago. I didn't have a network from Chicago. I didn't have ties to the business community here or the political community. So I started off, from the ground up. And it's a really challenging thing for anyone to do. But it really starts with putting yourself in a position to meet new and interesting people, right? That's like at the very fundamental. You have to put yourself out there. I've always loved getting outside of my comfort zone. And that's one of the really basic things that I always tell young professionals is you got to get outside of your comfort zone, and you put yourself in a position, whether it's, getting on a nonprofit board that maybe resonates with you, maybe go to a networking group that you've kind of always, do I really want to go by myself, and how do I do that? But I think you have to just get the courage and go and put yourself out there and make a goal to meet a few new people and stick with it. Whether it's personal hobbies, even, if you do something from running or cycling, you can meet other interesting people in those like-minded groups. So I think those are just a handful of things that I practice. But specifically, when I think of how you build a strong network or really strong relationships, I think first and foremost, you have to be who you are. You need to be authentic. You need to try to find common ground with somebody else, whether it's, industry, family, personal or professional. And another really, powerful emotion is, being vulnerable, putting yourself out there. And again, I always, I'm an open book personally. There's not much that I don't share with friends and or clients. And I try and, let people know what's going on in my life, maybe something that's driving me or that I'm passionate about professionally or personally. And I think that also allows the other person to want to open up and share themselves. Another, thing I think of when building a network is extending yourself, offering to help without expecting anything in return,
So
right?
tell
I
me a
think
little
that,
bit about that. Tell me a little bit about that, because that's, I think, a very important thing that people don't realize.
it is. You know, when I started meeting other professionals and I wanted to learn a little bit more about their business or them personally, and when I realized that maybe I had somebody in my network that was a great attorney that I could connect them with, that they could benefit from, or I'm friends with some, some guys that could get them the dinner reservation that they were looking to get to surprise, a client or a girlfriend. And all of a sudden off we went. I mean, candidly, but I didn't ever do those sorts of tasks expecting anything. And I still, to this day, I actually get joy from it. And I think that it's a really important thing to do. And part of that is you have to, if you're going to go to the extent of offering to help someone, another really basic thing that a lot of people miss on is you have to follow through and follow up. And if you say you're going to, introduce them to somebody, introduce them. And I have, a rule of thumb, and it's a favorite quote, which is, don't do tomorrow what you can do today. And right now, Benny, if you said, hey, Brad, can you connect me with XYZ? I saw you were connected on LinkedIn. It would really mean a lot to me. I would say, you bet. And within 60 minutes, I'm going to introduce you to that person. But it would be great in the reciprocals if you could follow through and say, hey, Brad, thanks for the introduction. This is how it's going, and just keep me apprised. And I think I do that in the reverse for clients as well. So I think those are some important things. And then the last handful of things that I think of is that genuinely people want to help out. Genuinely, if you ask somebody for a favor or for an introduction or for connection, they genuinely want to help you out. I don't care what stage of your career you are, if you're the CEO or if you're a first year associate, or and everything in between. So I think don't be, shy in asking for help. And then the last thing is have fun and do it with a smile. Never underestimate the power of a smile. So those are sort of the fundamentals as I think of what it takes to start and build a really strong network.
Now it's funny because like Kim Stapleton, I had Amanda Lannard, even my own personal mentality, it's almost the exact same thing: being authentic, being genuine, being transparent, and also like the follow-ups. And I think the follow-ups are extremely important, because if I do something, if I connect you with someone, it's always good for me to know. You can just forward me the email saying, hey, thanks, because it doesn't, otherwise it's kind of like, I have no idea what transpired for me.
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, I think that there's nothing that gives me, more joy is helping my friends out. And so I think that it's translated into business, and I know that you do a great job of it as well. And you're one of the best networkers I know. So
I appreciate you saying that. That means a lot coming from you. So Brad, thank you so much. We're right at that 10-minute mark. So thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Stay safe.
yeah, no, thanks, Benny. Thanks for having me. Talk to you soon.